Good morning. So this week I want to talk about reactions. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we tend to just respond to things, to whether it's something a person says to us, a person does to us, a situation that arises. We make up these movies in our head and we start thinking about what's going to happen, and we already know how it's going to end. And of course, it never ends that way. Or we say something out of anger or frustration or out of how we perceive a situation, and it turns out that our perception was completely wrong. And usually that's because we just don't ask enough questions, or we don't think things through before we ask questions, before we react to situations. So, next time something happens where you need to react, think it through, ask the right questions. A perfect example is like my son being home during this pandemic. Of course, I'm a parent. Me and my wife, we want to make sure he's doing what he needs to do. And he's taking a class online, and I never see him doing it. Or when he was home finishing up the second half of his first semester, he was never working. We never saw him working. And I was getting frustrated. My wife was getting frustrated. And instead of asking questions, we were like, what's going on? When are you working? Did you study? Did you do homework? It was driving him crazy. He was getting frustrated. He was getting angry. And, you know, I finally took a step back. My wife finally took a step back, and we said, okay, this is not working. Like, we need to find out a better way. So we were having dinner one night, and we sat down, and, we just had the conversation. Hey, Brett, like, I trust you. I know that you're doing the best you can, but I don't see you working. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm really concerned that your work's not getting done and that you're just uncomfortable with this whole situation throughout the pandemic. And he literally said to me, I just work better later. I sleep later, but I get up, I do my work later in the afternoon. I do it after dinner, even in college. I would work at 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's when I do my best work. And there's reasons behind that. But once I asked that question, I understood it. He ended up getting like a 3.5, and he did great in all his classes. We were just so worried because we weren't seeing things the way we would expect to see him. He just didn't operate the same way that we operate. Once we asked the question and we understood, it was fine. He was doing great. Everything was getting done. So my point is, there's more to what's going on than we perceive sometimes, and sometimes you just have to ask, and simply we'll get the answer. Have a great week. We'll talk more.